Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October 7, 2008 meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority. May we have a roll call for the authority, please?
Authority members Draymond.
Here.
Mency.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Harazian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Yusefian.
Here. May we have your report, please?
The agenda for the October 7, 2008 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, October 2, 2008 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. Do we have minutes?
So moved.
Second.
The minutes will stay approved as submitted. What's next, please?
At item 5 are oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the authority may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The matter may be referred to staff through the executive director for investigation and report.
I have one card, Herbert Milano.
Good afternoon, Authority Chair Yusefian, members of the Authority and city staff. My name is Herbert Milano. This past week I found out that that there had already been a meeting arranged for the quality of life indicators. I missed that meeting. Apparently they didn't have my email. But I think that you have a fairly good group. I looked at the list and it looks like we have quite a list of capable professional individuals who are partaking in this study, and it's very comforting. So soon enough I'll be trying to participate in at least 3 of those committees. I was going to suggest that we extend an invitation to many of the commissioners who have been selected, and that they should partake as well in giving some of their input to the committees of the quality of life indicators. And I'd like to suggest that perhaps the City Council can also chip in and submit to them questions that you may have that may allow us to get a better sense of the quality of life, because I think that if we have that type of data on a regular basis, on a yearly basis, it will make your decisions, you can frame your decisions based on the situation currently with our society. I mean, this morning you were considering raising taxes and fees on the Glendale's population, but we really don't know how hard hit they have been with regard to the economy. I would like to know, for example, how many people out there really have a retirement account and know their age, if they have one at all. And if they have one, I think this is a period where people are receiving their 401k statements to see just how poor they feel as they start receiving those documents. I mean, this is perhaps the right time to get an assessment of how they've been hard hit by this economic downturn. I would like to ask, for example, how many people have been late with their rent in the past year, or how many people have been late with their mortgage, or whether or not they have health insurance. I think it is going to be one of the questions there, but I think this is information that you ought to know so that you are aware that before you decide to come up with a sales tax, which is the most regressive type of tax that we have ever come up with, how it's going to hit those individuals who most of their income basically is going precisely to, that other than housing and transportation, is going into that type of expenditure. You can't make these kinds of policy decisions without looking at the data with regard to how the residents are doing financially and even emotionally. I would love to find out how many people have shopped at the 99-cent store in the past 12 months. I think it's relevant. Or how many people have shopped at Goodwill. Those are relevant questions so that as you decide to make decisions with regard to policy, that you frame it of exactly what is taking place out there. And the same thing when you do decide that you're going to increase the utility fees or increase the water rates, and exactly what is happening to these residents. I think it would be absolutely atrocious to find someone in a very hot day, an elderly person, to say, I'm not going to use the air conditioner because I cannot afford to pay the electricity. And then they get a call to the paramedic, and the paramedic just set up as another event or another call that in turn goes into their performance evaluation. I think there's something bizarre about the way we do things. And that's why I feel it's so important to have these indicators, especially you, Mr. Najarian, to have You had an economics major. I mean, you should be thriving precisely on what these things are going to give the city so that you can frame your decisions in a way that is relevant to how these decisions are going to impact the residents. You know, we can come up and say the average income in Glendale is, let's say, per capita, 54,000. But I'm sure that you got a different figure if it is north of the 134 or south of the 134. You know, what is it, 90% perhaps of the population, nearly of 90,000 people south of the 134 are probably renters. You know, there is no break, you know, when it comes to the amount of money these people have to put aside. And I know as a landlord how the economy is affecting my tenants. And that is my passion. That is the reason why I come here so often, to make sure that we do have that we can create a strategic plan to say where are we going and how our policy is going to impact the residents. So I'm suggesting that you submit your questions and that you get involved in this process because it's as relevant to you as it is to anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was my last card. What's next, please?
Item 6A, Director of Community Development and Housing regarding proposed Heritage Housing Partners affordable homeownership project to be located at 331 through 335 and 339 through 343 West Doran Street. At 6A1 is a resolution authorizing the Executive Director to enter into a loan agreement with the California Housing Finance Agency Residential Development Loan Program for homeownership project.
Any question from my colleagues?
I'll move the item, Mr. Chair, if there's no...
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Authority members Draymond,
Yes.
Mency,
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Parazian.
Yes.
Quintero.
Yes.
Weaver. Chairman Yusefian.
Aye. What's next, please?
Are there authority member or staff comments?
Is there any yes.
Yes, Mr. Yusefian, we do have some staff comments. Mr. Bergolian would like to make an announcement.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Chairman Yusefian and members of the Housing Authority. My name is Arthur Bergolian from Community Development and Housing, and I'm here to remind everyone and invite the public to a free housing fair sponsored by City of Glendale for renters and homeowners. The fair is scheduled for Saturday, October 18 from 2 to 5 p.m. at Pacific Park Community Center located on 501 South Glendale Avenue. Parking will be available right here in the City of Glendale, by the way. Parking will be available. Some of the topics that will be covered are evictions, rent increases, foreclosures and how to avoid them, and smoking ordinance. There will be several agencies present with expertise on the aforementioned topics, and they will be collaborating and providing information to the attendees. This fair will be advertised extensively throughout the city, and we will advertise on the local newspapers and a couple of the TV shows. It will be also posted on the departments and the city's websites, and we have also mailed out 400 flyers to the community service agencies. We also encourage everyone to practice their proverbial word of mouth and let your friends and neighbors who may be interested to attend. So we hope to see everyone there. For more information, you may also call 818-548-3936 or visit our website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us/CDH. Thank you.
There's just as much interest for homeowners, isn't there, as far as there are renters?
Yes, there should be. There's
The way you were saying it sounded like renters, but homeowners also very important.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it is for homeowners and renters
Right.
who are interested in the topics.
Hope it's a success.
Yes, Mr. Najarian.
Thanks, Arthur, for putting this together. I think Mr. Yusefian raised the issue. Was this your idea?
I'll wait and see how successful it is. If it was successful, it's my idea. If it wasn't, then it wasn't.
But just a couple questions. The format of this is going to be a booths in a large room, or is it going to be an actual seminar where there'll be lectures.
I understand, Peter can correct me, but I understand there will be a general session where they'll address the topics, and then you're right, there'll be a panel discussion with separate tables addressing the issues.
Correct. A general discussion, a general panel, which will touch on some of the topics very briefly being provided. Then there will be breakout sessions for renters interested in the renter issues as well as rental property owners, and then a separate breakout session for the homeowners and the home buyers.
It'll be 2 o'clock will be the...
Excuse me.
There will be the...
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
And I see that it is translated into 3 different languages, so Armenian, Spanish, and Korean will be available for those that have questions. Perhaps not an entire translated seminar, but...
Correct. And it will be available, the translations will be available, service will be available for the general session, and then what we expect to be the largest group would be the renter breakout session. Because of the equipment that we are using, we only have the ability to stay in one room and not take it to the home buyer and the homeowner sessions.
And the clearly insatiable thirst for information on the Section 8 program. We can never get enough information out to the public in terms of general information and specifics. I don't see Section 8 specifically listed, but I presume you'll have someone there with a lot of information there on the process, and I know we've been through it several times here at the agency and council, but
Correct.
People, you can't explain it often enough and get the information out to all those that have questions.
Correct. We expect a large number of people to inquire about the Section 8 program, so in addition to the panel, we'll also have a community development and housing table, which that information will be available. It is not necessarily a topic of discussion for any of the panels, but we will make mention of that, and anyone that had any further inquiries can be directed to the table right there at the
I mean, if you want to fill up the auditorium, just mention Section 8.
Right. Unfortunately, though, there's not much to say about Section 8 because we didn't want to necessarily talk about it, raise people's hopes, and then say, oh, by the way, the waiting list has been closed and will be closed for a long period of time. But we do understand it's of interest, and we'll be able to address any inquiries at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mincy? No. You haven't? Okay. Any other comments?
Just one other thing is that yesterday, the drawing for the opportunity to be considered for the Metro Loma apartments that will be completing soon was held here in the council chambers. There were 3,843 applications that were placed into the lottery. 600 applications were drawn. Each application was assigned by a number, so numbers were recited. It was broadcast on GTV6. Notices will be going out this week to those that were selected and were not selected as to next steps. The results of the lottery will also be posted on the city's website sometime today once internal audit approves the posting of that.
And that's for how many units?
3,843 applications for 44 units.
Thank you. And I also would like to invite all of my colleagues on the dais and staff members, if would like to show up between 2 and 5, you're welcome. Thank you. What else, please?
Is there any new business?
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.